Perfect. So now we are done with two levels, the pyramidal decussation, and you guys know now how to answer that kind of question. I'm sure if you look at the cross section, you will be able to identify everything on it, because it looks like a bird face. And this is the bird that sits on the pyramid, the pyramidal decussation level, and you know everything in that now. The next level is your bumps. Once you see the nuclei, the group of nuclei, it means your dorsal columns has to stop at that level to give the information to the group of nuclei that they are creating the tubercles. It means this is the sensory decussation level. And now we are at the last level, which is the open medulla level. Okay, I should have put here a picture of posterior aspect, because this is the open medulla, and I should have shown you guys the hypoglossal trigon and vagal trigon. I don't, yeah, like this should have been in the other slide, because this is the open medulla, and this is the last level, which is the level of the olives. And remember that the butterfly shape of the medulla is the level of your olive. So remember this cutie butterfly that is holding the olive on her hands. So when you are in the exam and you can see, I'm gonna get back to this, and you're gonna see a butterfly shape, oh my God, this is a medulla. This is the level of the olives, all right? So you just, this is how you will remember it, and we will build up on some information about that you need to know. And again, remember butterfly, because we are opening up medulla. And so butterfly, it opens up. And now we need to talk about the cranial nerves. Remember, we had the cranial nerves? What kind of cranial nerves do we have? Now, remember you guys, when we said that in the brain stem, you need to remember the 3 and 4 midbrain, 5, 6, 7, and 8 pons, 9, 10, 11, 12 medulla. So 9, 10, 11, 12 medulla. And remember that I told you that we have some vestibular nuclei. They're gonna be extra in the medulla, although the nerve is quite related to the pons. Okay, other than that, also remember the spinal trigeminal. Okay, so remember the cranial nerves, like we said, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Other than that, we have two cranial nerves that are naughty, and they are not following the instructions. One is the trigeminal. We will see the spinal nucleus in the medulla and the mesencephalic nucleus in the midbrain. This is number 1, trigeminal nerve. Number 2, the vestibular nerve. We have, other than the nuclei in the pons, we have vestibular nuclei and the medulla. Other than that, they will follow the rules. All right? Now, we are at the open level of the medulla, and we need to talk about the cranial nerve nuclei. I want you guys to remember that when you look at the picture of the butterfly shape of the last level of your medulla, which is the level of the olives, remember that you have 12, 10, 8. You are following even numbers from the last cranial nerve to backwards. All right, so we have 12, 10, and 8. Why this is important? This is important because this is gonna tell you that what you can see here. Can you guys see? Remember when I told you in the open medulla we have the hypoglossal trigon, most medial. This picture is not accurate. Actually, the hypoglossal should be medial. Hypoglossal should be more medial. Yes, it's above but medial. And then the lateral to it you have the vagus. All right? And then lateral to that you have the vestibular area, which is the inferior vestibular nucleus and half of the medial vestibular nucleus. Okay, guys? So this is what I meant by 12, 10, 8. All right? So the nuclei related to the 12 is the hypoglossal nucleus. Related to 10 is the dorsal vagal nucleus and the vestibular nuclei. This is where? This is, you guys, at the level of the olive, the open medulla. At the cerebellum, you guys, your cerebellum is here. This is your fourth ventricle. This is stuff related to the CSF. Okay, guys? Remember again, guys, try to relate this to the level of the olive. What did we say? We said that we have pyramids, we have olives, and lateral to that we have the inferior cerebellar peduncle. Remember that, guys? So this is the inferior cerebellar peduncle. You have your pyramids, you have the olives, and we have the inferior cerebellar peduncle, right? And posteriorly, at the cerebellum, at the fourth ventricle, the rhomboid fossa, the open medulla. Remember, you guys, the bumps we had, 12, 10, 8. This is the butterfly olive level, okay? So remember, here at this level, we are mature enough to talk about cranial nerves. When we were down, we were going step by step, as you are very new to neuroanatomy and you just studied the spinal cord, and we talked about the pyramidal decussation at the pyramidal level, at the bird face, and then we talked about the medial lemniscus decussation at the sensory, at the next level, at the bumps. Remember the bumps? Okay, that was number 2. Now, third level, we are mature enough, we should introduce the cranial nerves. And what are the cranial nerves related to the medulla? They are the last 4 cranial nerves, right? 9, 10, 11, 12. From that, we have some vestibular nuclei, so they will be here, okay? And other than that, remember that the hypoglossal, we're gonna go even numbers from the last to the backwards. 12 is here, the hypoglossal nucleus. Lateral to it, you have the dorsal vagal nucleus, and we have some nuclei other than the dorsal vagal deep here. We're going to talk about them, which is the nucleus of Tractus solitarius and nucleus ambiguous. It's the most deep structure. We're going to talk about that. And the last bump here is for the vestibular nuclei. And remember, the vestibular nuclei, we had them in the medulla, is the inferior and half of the medial. And I have a nice diagram to help you guys grasp this, okay? So hypoglossal, dorsal, the vagal, and the vestibular, okay? Other than that, what do we have? We have the nuclei related to vagus. Guys, vagus, it has 3 nuclei. It's not only 1. So we have 3 nuclei, okay? The dorsal vagal is the one that creates your bump. And next to it, we have the nucleus of Tractus solitarius. And deep, we have the nucleus ambiguous. Okay, we will talk about the function as we proceed. Okay, now back to the vestibular nuclei. The last area here, guys, it's the inferior vestibular nucleus, and you have the half of the medial vestibular nucleus, number 8. Okay, so as a recap here, what do we have? We have the pyramids in the front, we have the olives, and then you have the inferior cerebellar peduncles, and you know what's going down there, here. And we're going to talk about that into more details in cerebellum. It's, of course, your spinocerebellar tracts and stuff related to the brainstem. We're going to talk about that later on. And this is related to what you can see. Okay, pyramids, olives, and then inferior cerebellar peduncles. Pyramids, olives by inferior olivary nucleus, and then the inferior cerebellar peduncles. Okay, so what about the posterior part? Remember the cranial nerves. We are mature enough to know about the cranial nerves. Hypoglossal nerve, dorsal vagal, and the vestibular nuclei. Dorsal vagal, it has the nucleus of Tractus solitarius next to it and the nucleus ambiguous deep to it. 3 nuclei, guys, are related to the vagus nerve and also the glossopharyngeal nerve, and we're gonna talk about that. Okay, so can you guys remember everything here? And here there is a very important thing in the center, which is basically after the pyramids, you have 3 important structures, okay? 3 important structures from down to up. The first one is the medial lemniscus, okay? The next one is the tectospinal tract, and the last one is the medial longitudinal fasciculus. Again, what is that? You guys, in the medial part of the medulla, we have 3 important structures. Other than the pyramids down, we have, remember what are the 2 most important tracts so far they were two, صح? We talked about two levels now in the medulla. We talked about the pyramids, so that was number one. That was the lowest level. We talked about the medial lemniscus, that was number two. Now we are adding up two important structures that are coming here in the center of the medulla. These are the tectospinal tract, and the MLF. MLF means medial longitudinal fasciculus or medial longitudinal bundle. It's a bundle, it's a longitudinal bundle in the middle of the brainstem. On the brainstem, we're gonna talk about it in a separate slide, not now, in the midbrain video. So don't worry about that. You just need to know that it's located here. So in the center here, you have them by order. The motor stuff, the most important motor stuff, your pyramid, the most important sensory stuff, your medial lemniscus, and then tectospinal tract, and then MLF or MLB. Okay, the medial longitudinal fasciculus or medial longitudinal bundle. All right. Okay, again. So here you guys have magic words. We are introducing our magic words. We need them a lot as we talk about the brainstem, the lemnisci, cranial nerve nuclei. This is here at the level of the butterfly, the olives, and they are at the level of the pons and midbrain in the tegmentum, and we're going to talk about that as we reach. So never ever forget your lemnisci, because these are the sensations, the most important sensations that you have ever. Cranial nerve nuclei, because this is going to give you the control over your head and neck musculature and sensation as well. So don't forget your magic words. Okay, so I have this picture in the exam. All right, great. This one looks like a butterfly. Great. And the passionate anatomist told me, if you see a butterfly, remember the olive that the butterfly is holding. Okay, perfect. So this is a medulla at the level of the olives. So I have medulla, so I have pyramid, because this is anterior, it means motor, and then I have olive, and then I have the inferior cerebellar peduncle. Great, I can identify half of the butterfly now. She also told us that we are mature enough to know about the cranial nerves, and she also told us that the last 4 cranial nerves are related to the medulla. So what am I expecting to see here? I'm expecting to see 12, 10, and 8. So I have the hypoglossal nucleus down here, the white color, and then I have the dorsal vagal nucleus, the next one, the dorsal vagal here, and then I have the vestibular nucleus. Can you guys see the vestibular here, the third one? So I have the hypoglossal, I have the vagal, vestibular nuclei. And she also told us it's not only the dorsal vagal, there is the nucleus of tractus solitarius related to the vagus nerve, and there is a deep nucleus called nucleus ambiguus. 3 of them are important for the vagus nerve and glossopharyngeal, and we're going to talk about them now. And then she also told us in the butterfly that there is a very important triangle, that is the pyramid, the medial lemniscus, and then the tectospinal tract, and the medial longitudinal fasciculus or medial longitudinal bundle. Okay, so the very first one is your MLF. Okay, next to it is your tectospinal tracts, and then of course your medial lemniscus. Okay, because this is the thing that was already crossed, and this is the thing that will cross down, and this is also crossing down. Okay, so they are very important structures. And then we have the tectospinal and MLF. All right, so guys, these are the most important things you guys need to know when you want to identify. Other than that, you have the reticular formation. All right, of course, I just want to draw how the hypoglossal nerve would come out from here, because the hypoglossal nerve comes out between the pyramid and the olive. So here, this is the hypoglossal nuclei. So the hypoglossal nerve will get out from here. Okay, so this is important because that will help me if I have a lesion and I would expect the problem that happens to the patient. We're going to talk about that in the lesions as we proceed. Okay, and remember the emergence of your cranial nerves. I think you guys know it already from the cranial nerves video. I can make a cranial nerve video. It's that number 12 is here between the pyramid and the olive. It's number 12 is actually here. If this is the pyramid, all right, if this is the pyramid and here is the olives, okay, this is number 6 cranial nerve. Number 12 is gonna be down here, and then you have 7 and 8 here up here. This is 7 and 8 at the pontomedullary junction, and now you have 9, 10, 11 at the sides. Okay, on the side here you have 9, 10, 11. So this is 6, 7 and 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 is down like the clock. If the clock is 12 here and 6 here, it's going to be the opposite. If this is my abducent nerve in the pontomedullary junction, 12 is going to be just down here in the center here, lateral to the pyramids, all right? And the stuff at the very lateral aspect here is the accessory nerve. Can you guys see? Can you guys see? This is the accessory nerve, all right? Great, so this is the level of the olive, all right.